Now, just as we were awed by the targeted pager attack, overnight a second wave of explosions targeted Hezbollah members, terrorists. This time, thousands of walkie-talkies carried by the terror group blew up. It's been reported that it killed at least 20 people, although there are senior figures who are speculating that the true figure is much higher, and Hezbollah isn't being transparent about this. Israeli Defence Minister Yoav Gallant announced a new phase of the war. He says he wants Israelis displaced from the north to be able to return home.
I appreciate that we are at the beginning of a new era in this war and we need to adapt ourselves. This is true for everyone, certainly for those who are in the air or control what is in the air, because the position here is stronger.
So that will be the strategy now moving forward, with resources shifting to the north of Israel. There are also unconfirmed reports that the original pager attack was brought forward over concerns that Hezbollah had uncovered the operation or had become suspicious about their devices. As I say, those are unconfirmed reports. And now journalists have started to trace the pathway of the pagers from Taiwan to Lebanon in an effort to work out when and where they were intercepted, presumably by Mossad. There's mystery now around the manufacturer of the pagers, BAC Consulting, located in Budapest. The business address listed seems to be a front. It's only used, reportedly, as a postal address. Now, for more on this incredible operation, I'm joined by Deakin University Global Islamic Politics Chair, Professor Greg Barton. Welcome to the program. Now, Professor, 5 months ago, Hezbollah leader Nasrallah first told members to stop using their mobile phones. So do you think this is when the planning of this attack, presumably by Mossad, first began?
Yeah, Sharia, it certainly goes back early in the year. That most significant speech from Hassan Nasrallah was in February. He said, if you're worried about Israeli spies, the Israeli spy is in your pocket. It's your mobile phone. Get rid of them. We can't use mobile phones. They've got into our network. They can geolocate you. They can record your conversations. So that was February. And apparently these pages came in a batch 5 months ago. So they would have put out an order and tried to organise this so they could make that switch. And at the same time, apparently they also got a batch of walkie-talkies. We don't know where they came from. And as you were saying, this front company in Budapest doesn't have the capacity to manufacture. It had paid for a license with Gold Apollo, the Taiwanese company, to manufacture the pages, but doesn't have manufacturing facilities as far as we can determine. I mean, to be frank, it rather looks as if Mossad made these pages on the Gold Apollo design, so they wouldn't be detected, planted small amounts, 10, 20 grams of military-grade explosives and a triggering circuit in a way that wasn't easily detected. And as you said, apparently there was, or it seems possible that there was some suspicion about these devices, and this operation was brought forward. It was thought the reason for the operation was as a prelude to a military campaign. So a psychological blow, but also a way of unhinging a terrorist network that is a very highly networked organization that depends on people turning up in plain clothes at a moment's notice when they get a message. Well, take away that messaging and it's very hard for Hezbollah to work in the way that it's used to.
What does it say when we hear that the Iranian envoy had a Hezbollah pager? What does that say about the Iranian envoy's links to Hezbollah?
Well, I think it comes as no surprise to anyone watching this. Hezbollah is a proxy of Iran. Iran supplies much of its technology and weaponry. Of course, it's easier for Iran to get material to Hezbollah in Lebanon than it is to get stuff into Hamas, the other proxy in the Gaza Strip, but it was doing that as well. So really comes as no surprise, but it is a very public confirmation that this is, as much as anything, a proxy war involving Iran and Hezbollah as a proxy force. That's not to say that Lebanese politics don't count for anything and that Hezbollah doesn't make its own choices, but, you know, Iran, Tehran is certainly standing there in the background and will play a key role in what happens next.
I read a report today that at one funeral in Beirut, attendees were asked to turn off their phones and actually take out the batteries. So apart from the terrorists that it has already injured or killed, it shows that this attack definitely has an ongoing psychological element to it. You know, they're all paranoid now. They don't feel safe.
Yeah, this was a PSYOPs operation as much as anything. It was a major intelligence espionage breakthrough. Hezbollah is compromised, so that's embarrassing, but also deeply destabilizing for them. And then the fact that they don't know which devices have been compromised means they can't rely on any of their communication devices, any of their electronics. And of course, you know, in the modern age, digital technology is everywhere. So we're getting unconfirmed reports that apart from the walkie-talkies, there are other electronic devices blowing up today in Lebanon. So that is very destabilizing. And the people of Lebanon, you know, many who don't like Hezbollah, don't support Hezbollah, have living through hell on earth when it comes to a failing economy, failing politics. And this just adds to their sense of you know, a hopelessness. So that it plays against Hezbollah's power. I mean, it may have the perverse effect of actually having a rally around the flag effect and giving some support for an unpopular group, Hezbollah, but let's hope that's not the case.
Yeah, definitely. Just before you go, how humiliating is this for Hezbollah?
It's deeply humiliating. So there is that loss of face, the sense that they've got to do something to stand up. But it's also more than just an embarrassment. They've got people in their ranks who are compromised, and there's going to be an awful witch hunt. And of course, those witch hunts often go badly wrong. So it's likely to have an impact way beyond, you know, there may be a handful of middle-ranking senior people compromised. There's likely to be dozens purged. There's likely to be a lot of mistrust. It does make them, for the time being at least, less able to operate. Doesn't incapacitate them, but it destabilizes them. And that's why this was seen as perhaps a prelude to military action.
Yeah, all right. Professor Greg Barton, thank you. Really appreciate your insights on what has been a completely extraordinary intelligence operation this week. It's floored all of us.